My name's Maureen, although most of you at this point who've subscribed or followed, you already know who I am. But you never know. I'll keep this pinned and maybe new people will find it. And at the heart of this, it's not about, starting up a YouTube channel that becomes super successful and that I make money. In fact, I don't really see myself making money off of any of this. What this is therapy. I started this Facebook page about 3 months ago, and I kind of knew what I wanted to do with it, but I don't think I really thought it completely through. So, and then craziness happened, as if it wasn't already going on 4 months ago. It just got compiled and worse. So I stepped away from it entirely. And when I thought about whether or not I should even bother to try to continue with it, what I kept coming back to was this conviction that I've had for quite a long time, that we all need to try to connect, especially the introverts. So here's the mission behind my page, behind this YouTube channel. I want to do my best to be authentic when approaching anything that I'm talking about or showing, which is why I am sitting here looking like an oxymoron, because I did my makeup today, but I'm wearing workout gear. My hair is a mess, and I'm sitting in my chair in my cluttered and messy office living room. That's just life right now. So I'm going to do my level best not to sugarcoat things, not to make things look like more than what they are. Another thing that I've come to realize, and I've probably felt this way longer than I ever realized that I felt it, is that I have imposter syndrome. I never think that anything good that happens is my doing. I always think that I'm in the right place at the right time, or that anything successful is done with so much help that I can't take any credit for it. And I'm awful at taking compliments. In fact, I still tend to, when people compliment, concerts and shows, I always deflect to the kids. I always make sure that it's about the kids, which will bring me to a point later on my mission. But I always think that it's somebody else who is successful, and it's a bad habit that I need to break. Another reason why I had a hard time really getting going with this, because I thought, who's gonna want to listen to me? I don't know anything about anything, and it's gonna be a struggle to put that out there, but we'll see what happens. The next part of my mission is I just want to convey the struggles of being a wife and mom, being a working wife and mom. Not that, being a stay-at-home wife and mom is any less hard, but that's my perspective. So that's where this is going to come from. And I want to give examples of how parenting is harder than any of us ever thought it would be. We never know how it's going to feel and how hard it will be. Moving into the point that I was getting to about, being a teacher and not being able to take compliments. I want to acknowledge the joys because everyone wants to hear the goodies, but also acknowledge these destructive mental wormholes that teachers get into, especially music teachers get into throughout our careers. And that leads into another point. You know, teachers are too polite. We're way too polite. And we do it because there's always this eye of perfection on us. And it seems to me, even though I think the needle is shifting, that teaching on the whole as a profession applies this unjust amount of pressure to be perfect, to always look perfect, to always act perfect, to never have a life outside of our classrooms. We joke, teachers joke all the time. Most of you know this. Teachers joke about how it's really funny when our kids see us outside of our classrooms. I had this running joke last year about a kindergartner who saw me in the hallway and was flabbergasted. What are you doing out here? And so I had a joke about how, yeah, I escaped from my cage. It's stuff like that. Like, the kids see that, and sometimes I feel like society also sees us that way. They can't believe that we exist outside, and therefore when they do see us outside, there's that same level of perfection expected. That's why whenever, we run into kids in the summertime at the grocery store or at the pool, we're all of a sudden like, oh, they saw me when I was looking a hot mess. We are what we are. And, I want to dive into some of that. And finally, I want to take you along because I am on this journey to separate my identity from my job. And I've fallen into the same rut that I think a lot of music teachers fall into, because we've seen it in movies about music teachers. We've seen it just in the music teachers that we've learned from, that their identity is being a music teacher. And it's hard to separate from that because it's not just a job. It's a calling. We feel like that's our ministry. For those of us that are religious, we tend to feel like that's our ministry. That's how we're, conveying the love of Christ. And in part, yes, but there's more to us. There's way more to us. It's really true for a lot of us. We never really learned how to look inside, find the best parts of ourselves, and understand our own truths, and be able to share that with everyone. Some people are just really natural at it. It's not to say that nobody knows how to do this. It's just that a lot of us, especially introverts, we live in a world where being extroverted and knowing who you are and being confident in yourself is the key to success. And when you aren't those things, you feel less than. And, that's something I want to fight. And I feel like if I share it, that I'm much more likely to make it stick. So if you watched this, thanks for letting me ramble. But I felt like it was really important to share, exactly what's on my mind for this page. What am I trying to do here? And the the long and the short is I'm not trying to sell anything. I'm a horrible salesperson. So that's not ever going to be a main goal of this. I hope that maybe some sort of small community could form to talk about some of these things. Some of these things that I feel like I've never really been able to talk about. I may have had opportunities and I ignored them, or I may have had opportunities and I just didn't know. So here I am, sitting at the Bible study, finally ready to listen and finally ready to share for the first time in a long time. What's motivated me? What motivated me to start this page at all were these two books. I started reading them back in January, February, just because I need something to pull me out of this self-destructive rut that I had been in. Because this school year, even though I thought it was going to be better than previous, and tangent, I judge everything in my life, even if it's not school related. I judge everything by the school year timeline. That's kind of messed up, right? Seems like that's something I shouldn't do anymore. But anyways, this whole school year, starting from August through January, February, I thought was going to be better than the previous 2 school years had been. Just, to give a backstory, the previous 2 school years, I was pregnant, had a baby, had postpartum depression and anxiety, and I was really trying to get out of that. So the long and the short, the first half of this most recent school year, I was on a negative spiral back down. And it was because I was trying to find and be this person, this perfect person in my job, which is not even the most important part of my life. It's big. It's up there on the top 5, but it's not number 1. And it was getting so much of my time and attention, and I was actively crossing things off of both my school list and my personal list of things to do, just shoving off things that I felt like I didn't need to do anymore, and it wasn't helping. And so I started feeling pretty worthless and feeling like I just wasn't good at this anymore, and I wasn't sure I wanted to keep doing it. And I won't lie, I don't think I'm much better now, but I think perspective is different after, March and the madness that ensued afterwards. But anyways, back to these. I had gotten these to help somehow give me a new direction, give me a new thought process, a new thing to think about. It's what got me really thinking about the fact that I have my identity way too wrapped up in my job. There's much more to me than that. So the long and the short of it is, this is some crazy weird sort of therapy. And if any of you have listened to this whole thing and don't think I'm insane, or maybe you do and you just feel like maybe you're insane too, whatever I can be honest about, I will share. Sound like a fair deal? I hope so. So thanks for watching. We'll see you all later.